Good morning, YouTube. It's me, John Avenger, once again, and welcome to Horrorpalooza review. I believe this is number 6 or 7. And, well, this is a 2013 horror film that I saw in the theater. I don't have the Blu-ray anymore because my brother stole it, but I do remember it very well. And it was the first movie James Wan did after Insidious, I believe, or yeah. And it's The Conjuring. Yep. This is a very scary movie. Whoever said this movie is not scary probably has never seen a horror film in their life. This film, has a lot of tension and atmosphere, and yeah, the jump scares, there's jump scares, but it's jump scares that you don't see coming. Like the scene where uh, Lily Taylor is going down the basement and she has a little match, and then the two hands come out of nowhere and go, and it goes off. That's pretty scary. The scene where this dead body is hung on a tree and you don't see it coming, and that's a scary scene. Anytime the kids oh, excuse me, I just got up. The Mackenzie Foy is hitting her head on the wall. That's pretty creepy. And when the spirit is attacking, Joey King, and always, and they say, what's that smell? And yeah, and it's her screaming. That's scary. There's a lot of scary things in this movie. It's got a great cast. You got Vera Farmiga and Patrick Wilson. They also in the sequel, which I haven't seen yet, so I can't review that yet. They play with these demonologists. They're basically like Ghostbusters, except they don't catch ghosts. They study them, and they go to the house of this family that's being attacked by a demon. It's Lily Taylor and Ron Livingston and Mackenzie Foy and Joey King and a bunch of others. It's a really good film. Like has one of the best cast of a horror film. That's not just a bunch of stupid models and teenagers. It's got kids and adults and older adults, and it's got a lot of tension. Like James Wan knows how to direct this movie. If it was done by somebody else, it would not have been as scary. The last scene is very disturbing when Lily Taylor's being possessed and they're doing an exorcism, and she's got like thing coming out of her mouth, and she's like, ah. That was really terrifying in the theater. This is definitely a movie to see in the theater. Well, it's a theater experience because didn't look cheap, and yet the movie was made for close to nothing, and it made a lot of money because it was good. And while the second movie I do want to check it out, I think this one is not going to be top because it's the scariest horror film I've seen in the theater in 10 years. And it's not a remake, it's not a reboot, it's not a prequel, it's not a spin-off, it's its own thing. And the movie just still holds up. Like it came out in the summer of 2013, and yet there was a lot of summer movies this year that were horror films that also did very well, but they're not as memorable as this. If it wasn't for this movie, the second one would never have gotten made, and it took a long time. They decided to go in a different direction in that one, but I will check that out, and I will probably review it probably by the end of October. Um, I got to see it online because I don't own The Conjuring 2, but this is the original, and the original is top notch. It's scary stuff, with a lot of tension, a lot of atmosphere. That's what's missing in horror films nowadays. It doesn't have too much gore. It has violence. It's basically R-rated for the atmosphere because they're like, hey, wait a minute, this movie should be PG-13. I'm like, no, it's very creepy, and the disturbing imagery is not for children. I would never show this to a child. That would probably give them nightmares for a week. And it's got even the acting is very serious in tone because it's not a comedy, and it's very, very creepy. And the fact that kids are in peril, that's scary in its own right. You have the girl from that was in the last Twilight movie, Mackenzie Foy, and you have Joey King, who was in a lot of stuff in 2013. She did Oscar Great and Powerful and White House Down and a bunch of other stuff. So really good actress, very cute. And to see her in peril here was like, wow, I wish I was there to protect her. And Lily Taylor, she has like scratches on her back, and she doesn't know where it's coming from. And the supernatural is already scary. I mean, if you've seen The Exorcist, you know what I mean. Even though I haven't seen that, this is the closest to The Exorcist that I've seen. And even though it's not 100% original, it does excuse me, it does have a lot of tension. You know, you feel everything. And if someone on YouTube says that this movie has no tension, you're full of shit. This is how you do scares right, by having the audience feel this creepy atmosphere, you know, like you don't know what's going to happen. And I will say this right now, this is what the new Ghostbusters should have had. If it wasn't going to be funny, at least it should have been scary. Have some tension, have some atmosphere, have something, you know, to fear. Not, oh, I'm not scared, I'm not laughing, it's a failure. Yeah, this is all tension, like all the time. The Annabelle doll they show at the end, well, they did a spin-off which sucked, but that was creepy in its own right. That just showing that thing was creepy at the end of the movie. And you know, just James Wan is probably the best director right now working that's doing horror, because you got guys like Eli Roth that are not scary. I'm sorry, their movies are just exploitation. Him and Rob Zombie, and yeah, these guys don't know what they're doing. And Michael Bay is like a producer of horror films. He doesn't know what he's doing half the time. This guy knows what he's doing, and that's why his movies make money. They don't just make money because they're pretty. They make money because they're actually horror films that are horrifying. They know the genre that they're doing. They're not trying to make a comedy. They're not trying to make an action film. They're sticking to their guns. That's why this movie is memorable. That's why it's scary. That's why it's one of the best horror films I've seen in 10 years. And it's just like It Follows. Tension is scarier when you don't know what's out there compared to stuff that you just see right in your face, right in your face, right in your face, like Sinister or Sinister 2. This did it better, and this is why it deserves all the praise it got from critics and from general audiences. So I would definitely recommend The Conjuring, the first one. If you've seen the sequel, go back and watch the first one. You will not regret it. It has a great cast. It's got some really top-notch acting for a horror film. It's not just stupid horror cliches up the ass like Cabin in the Woods. I think this is much better. This is a game changer more for the horror genre, because if they had done more like this and less remakes and reboots, we would have a horror genre that was well respected now, like it was in the 80s and the 90s. But this is a good one. Watch it with a bunch of people. They're going to be jumping out of their seats. And with surround sound and on Blu-ray, this is definitely something to see. So thanks for watching, like, and subscribing. Sorry if I yawned. I just got up from, you know, my sleep. And, you know, but I wanted to do this video because I couldn't do it last night. I was tired. So I hope this is good enough for you guys. Thanks for watching. Take care, and I'll see you in the next one.